Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be diving into all those crazy AI advancements that happened in December 2024. And the really cool thing is we're using your collection of articles and research as like our guide. Yeah, so we've got new models from all the big players. OpenAI, Google, Meta, quantum computing breakthroughs, even robot dogs that can carry humans. So buckle up. It's going to be a fascinating ride.
It's remarkable how fast things are moving, right? Just keeping up with the daily announcements is like a full-time job. That's kind of where we come in, though, right? This whole deep dive is all about helping you go beyond just like the headlines and really understand the why and the how of all this crazy stuff.
Absolutely. So let's kick things off with OpenAI. I mean, they basically took over the news cycle with that 12 days of shipness thing they did, releasing a new product every single day throughout December.
Yeah, it was like an advent calendar for AI nerds, but they made some serious moves too, not just hype, like ChatGPT Pro, their premium service, $200 a month. It gives you access to that O1 reasoning model, which is supposed to be way more reliable.
So how does O1 actually work to like reduce those errors? From what I read, it's not just about a bigger data set or more processing power, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's about the architecture. They've implemented this two-step process where it kind of double checks its work. So the first step generates the response, and then the second step analyzes that response for consistency and accuracy.
That's pretty cool. It sounds like OpenAI is trying to move beyond just generating text that like sounds good and more towards AI that actually thinks critically.
Exactly. And this whole focus on reasoning is going to be even bigger in their O3 model. We don't know a ton about it yet, but we know it uses something called deliberative alignment, which basically means trying to bake in safety and ethics guidelines directly into how the AI operates.
Hold on. So deliberative alignment means like the AI is actually considering the consequences of what it's saying as it's generating a response. That seems like a huge step forward in terms of like safety and trust.
It is. Think about it this way. Right now, AI models are mostly trained to like match patterns and predict the next word. Deliberative alignment is going beyond that. It's about giving the AI some kind of thoughtfulness, I guess you could say, enabling it to think about potential outcomes and make sure they're aligned with those guidelines. It's still early, but if it works, it could totally change how we build AI systems.
It's mind-blowing to think how quickly we've gone from AI inviting silly poems to potentially making ethical decisions in real time. Okay, but let's move on to another big OpenAI announcement. Sora. That text-to-video tool has caused quite a stir, hasn't it?
Sora is a total game changer. I mean, imagine just typing out a description of a scene, and within seconds you have a 1080p video up to 20 seconds long that perfectly matches your description. Crazy powerful. It opens up a whole new world for content creation, storytelling, virtual world design, you name it.
And from what I've heard, they're even testing out the ability to generate videos of real people, which is obviously a little concerning given the whole deepfake situation.
Oh yeah, for sure. OpenAI knows about that, and they're trying to be careful. They're limiting access to that feature and using metadata to tag AI-generated content, and working on detection tools. But it's a tough battle. As AI gets better at generating realistic stuff, the harder it's going to be to tell real from fake.
It is a little unnerving to think about. But they didn't stop at text and video. OpenAI also released Canvas, which basically turns your browser into a full-blown coding environment.
Yeah, Canvas is a smart move. It's about bringing coding into that whole ChatGPT ecosystem. So you can write Python code right in your browser with real-time debugging and intelligent suggestions powered by ChatGPT. It makes coding way more accessible and lets people build custom apps, automate tasks, even build their own AI-powered tools.
So it's like they're building this whole AI-powered ecosystem. Writing, coding, video creation, all centered around ChatGPT. That's an ambitious vision. But it's not without controversy, right? Especially with their shift to a for-profit company.
Yeah, the for-profit thing has gotten some pushback, for sure. Some people say it prioritizes profits over open access, which could hurt innovation. Others are worried about too much power in the hands of one company, like Elon Musk. He's been super vocal about it. He's even teamed up with Meta to legally challenge OpenAI.
It is interesting that Musk and Meta, two very different figures, let's say, have united against OpenAI. What are their main concerns?
Both of them are big on open source AI. They believe it leads to more innovation and transparency and prevents any one company from having too much control. They say that OpenAI's closed approach could stifle collaboration and limit access to the technology, and maybe even lead to AI being misused for profit or something worse.
So it's like a fundamental clash of philosophies about the future of AI. Open versus closed, collaborative versus controlled. And then right in the middle of all this, OpenAI's co-founder Ilya Sutskever makes this wild prediction about peak data. What's that all about?
Sotscaver's prediction is fascinating. He's saying that we're reaching the limits of usable data for training these AI models. He thinks the future is an AI that can reason independently, make decisions based on limited info rather than huge data sets.
So instead of AI that's really good at recognizing patterns, we're talking about AI that can actually think and reason and solve problems more like a human.
Exactly, and that changes everything about AI development. Imagine AI that can learn from just a few examples and adapt to new situations, even generate its own knowledge. That's so different from the data-hungry models we have now.
It's wild to think about how this could totally change the AI landscape. Okay, so we've talked a lot about OpenAI. But what about Google? They haven't exactly been sitting on the sideline.
Oh no, not at all. Google's making its own moves, especially in video generation. They're going head-to-head with OpenAI's Sora with their VO2 model.
Okay, let's hear about VO2. How does it compare to Sora? What makes it special?
Well, from what we've seen so far, it looks like VO2 might actually be better than Sora in terms of video quality and realism. One of Google's big focuses has been trying to get rid of those weird AI glitches that pop up sometimes.
Like when objects just appear, disappear, or body parts look all wonky?
Yeah, exactly. Those visual hallucinations, they're pretty common in early video generation models. Google's come up with some smart techniques to reduce them, so the videos look more realistic and believable.
Makes sense. I mean, a video with messed up hands or furniture that keeps disappearing isn't going to be very useful, no matter how creative the idea is.
Exactly. Google gets it. For AI video to really take off, it needs to be both creative and technically solid. But it's not just video. They've also developed Llama too. It's an AI that analyzes images to detect emotions.
That sounds super powerful, but also kind of scary. I can see how that could be misused.
Oh yeah, for sure. Analyzing emotions from images raises a ton of ethical questions. You could use it for surveillance or marketing or even hiring. Google says they've addressed bias in their model, but the potential for misuse is definitely there.
It seems like almost every AI advancement has this double-edged sword quality to it. So much potential for good, but also the risk of being used for bad. And then there's Project Mariner, Google's AI that can browse the web on its own. What's that all about?
Project Mariner is like having a super-powered research assistant. Imagine you give it a task like, find me the latest research on quantum computing. It'll go out and browse websites, follow links, read articles, pull out the important info.
It's like a digital detective.
But how does it actually work? Is it just a fancy search engine?
Or is it something more?
It's way more than a search engine. It uses Gemini, which is Google's most advanced language model, to understand the context of web pages and interpret your instructions. It can interact with websites, fill out forms, download files, even synthesize info from a bunch of different sources.
That's pretty amazing. It's like Google's blurring the line between AI and how humans interact with the web. But maybe their most impressive achievement was in quantum computing. That 105-qubit Willow processor got everyone talking, especially its error correction capabilities.
Yeah, the Willow breakthrough is huge. It's not just about speed, it's about opening up all these possibilities for scientific discovery and tech innovation.
I still can't get over the fact that it solved a problem in minutes. That would take the world's fastest supercomputer trillions of years. That's crazy.
It just shows you the potential of quantum computing to revolutionize fields like drug discovery, materials science, even AI itself. It's early days, but the possibilities are massive.
Okay, so we've seen OpenAI's aggressive product launches and Google's response. What about Meta? They seem to be going in a different direction with that whole open source AI thing with Llama.
Yeah, Meta's putting their money on the open source community. They think that's the best way we'll get more innovation and accessibility in AI. They've got a bunch of releases of Llama 4 planned for 2025, each one building on the last.
And I read that Llama 4 is all about advanced reasoning and voice interaction. Sounds like they're coming after OpenAI and Google.
Absolutely. Llama 4 is going to be powerful and versatile. It'll be able to understand complex instructions, have natural conversations, even generate creative stuff like poems, code, scripts, music, emails, letters, the whole works. It's a direct challenge to those closed models from OpenAI and Google. It'll be interesting to see how the open source approach does in this crazy competitive AI landscape.
It's shaping up to be a three-way race to the future of AI, each player bringing their own strengths and philosophies. But it's not just the big guys making waves, is it? We've seen some really cool stuff from smaller companies and research labs too.
You're right, there's a whole world of AI innovation happening outside the big tech companies. Which is actually a great transition to the next part of our deep dive. We've talked about the big picture, the major players. Now let's zoom in on some specific applications and real-world examples of all these AI advancements.
Sounds good. I'm excited to see how these cutting-edge technologies are actually being used to solve problems and create new possibilities. Let's dive in. Okay, so we spent a lot of time talking about those big companies and like their master plans for AI, but now I kind of want to get down to like the nitty-gritty. You know, like how are these crazy concepts actually helping people in their everyday lives?
Yeah, that's the important part, right? Where the rubber meets the road. So let's go back to that 12 days of shipments thing from OpenAI. Sure, it was all about marketing, but hidden in all that hype were some genuinely useful features.
Like, wait, what comes to mind?
Well, one thing that stood out to me was the projects feature in ChatGPT. It's pretty simple, actually. Basically, you can organize all your files, conversations, even your custom GPTs into folders. So ChatGPT becomes this central hub for all your work.
So instead of having all those ChatGPT conversations scattered around, you can manage them like actual projects, like your own personal AI workspace.
Exactly. OpenAI wants to make ChatGPT indispensable for getting stuff done, not just a fun toy for writing poems. And they're making it more accessible too. Like they launched a toll-free phone number in the US so people can get 15 minutes of free access to ChatGPT every month.
That's a great way to reach people who maybe don't have reliable internet or just prefer using their voice.
For sure. OpenAI knows that accessibility is key if they want everyone to be using AI. They also integrated ChatGPT with WhatsApp, so now you can talk to the AI right through the messaging app.
It's like they're trying to put ChatGPT everywhere. Browsers, messaging apps, coding environments.
Yeah, they're going all in on integration. But let's switch gears for a second and talk about Google. They're also doing a lot with accessibility, like Project Mariner. It's designed to make the web easier to use for people with disabilities.
Oh, that's awesome. An AI that can browse the web and find information would be huge for people who struggle with traditional browsers or just reading lots of text.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of how AI can empower people and solve real problems. And it's built on top of Gemini, Google's really powerful language model.
Speaking of mind-blowing stuff, we can't forget about Google's quantum computing breakthrough with that Willow processor. That was a big deal, wasn't it?
Huge. Willow's ability to do error correction in quantum computing was a massive leap forward. It's not just about how fast it is, it's about unlocking all these new possibilities for science and technology.
It's still crazy to me that it can solve problems in minutes that would take a normal supercomputer trillions of years. Like we're talking time travel speeds for scientific progress.
It really is a total game changer. Think about how much faster we could discover new drugs or develop new materials, build super accurate financial models, maybe even tackle climate change.
It's almost too much to wrap your head around. Okay, but let's bring things back down to earth for a minute, literally, with that robot dog that can carry a human.
Oh yeah, the Unitree B2W. It's a cool example of how robotics is going way beyond just factories and stuff. It's agile, strong, can handle tough terrain, perfect for all sorts of jobs.
Yeah, I can see it being used in search and rescue, disaster relief, exploration, maybe even helping people who have trouble getting around.
Definitely. It can carry heavy loads and go places most robots can't. It's like a robotic pack mule that can do backflips.
And while we're on the subject of AI pushing boundaries, have you heard about that system that can referee soccer games?
You mean Match Vision? Yeah, it's pretty wild. It shows you what AI can do in sports. It analyzes game footage in real time to spot fouls, figure out how bad they are, even gives coaches and players feedback.
So AI can help improve human performance, even in something as nuanced as a sport. But some applications are more worrisome than exciting, like that Google thing, Llama 2, that can read emotions from pictures.
Right, it has some potential benefits, but being able to know someone's emotions just by looking at a picture of them is a bit creepy. It could be used to violate people's privacy or misinterpret their feelings, and there's always the risk of bias influencing decisions based on that kind of analysis.
It's a perfect example of why we need to be careful as AI gets more powerful. We can't just focus on how cool it is. We need to think about the potential downsides, too.
Absolutely, and it's why we need diverse voices in the AI development to make sure these systems are built and used responsibly.
Okay, so we've seen AI changing things in productivity, accessibility, sports, even quantum computing. What are like the big takeaways from all this AI craziness in December 2024?
A few things stand out. First, the race for more powerful reasoning models is on. OpenAI and Google are leading the pack. They're pushing the limits of what AI can understand and create, going way beyond just pattern matching.
So it's like AI is evolving from this really talented mimic into a critical thinker. It can understand context, solve problems, even come up with new ideas.
Exactly, and that leads to another big trend. AI is getting more accessible. OpenAI's phone service, the WhatsApp integration, Google's work on making the web easier to use, it all points to a future where AI is available to everyone, no matter their technical skills.
It's like AI is becoming democratized.
Right, and then there's the trend of AI interacting more directly with the real world, like that robot dog from Unitree that can navigate real environments. and Match Vision using AI to analyze live sports.
AI is breaking out of the digital world and into our physical world.
And that raises a whole bunch of questions. How are we going to interact with these increasingly intelligent machines? How do we collaborate with them? How do we make sure they're doing what we want them to do?
It's a future full of amazing possibilities and potential problems. We've talked about the key developments and trends and how they're being used. Now I want to look ahead. Where is this AI journey taking us? What's next? So we've explored this crazy AI landscape, from like groundbreaking research to real-world applications. But now I want to shift gears and look ahead what's coming in 2025 and beyond. It's prediction time.
Haha, yeah, trying to predict the future is always a bit risky, but based on everything we saw in December, I think it's safe to say things are about to get even wilder in AI.
All right, so let's hear those predictions. What trends are going to shape the AI world this year?
Well, test off, the competition's going to eat up even more. OpenAI, Google, Meta, they all want to be on top, and that's going to push innovation like crazy. We're going to see even more powerful AI models that push the limits of what AI can understand and create.
So the AI arms race is still going strong, huh? But what about the rest of us? How will all this affect our everyday lives?
That's the really exciting part. AI is going to be everywhere in our daily lives in ways we can't even imagine yet. Think personalized education, AI-powered healthcare, even AI helping us be more creative in the arts and entertainment.
So instead of boring old textbooks, we'll have AI tutors creating custom lessons for how we learn best, and we won't have to wait weeks for a doctor's appointment. AI will be analyzing our health data 24/7.
Exactly. But there are challenges too, of course. Jobs being replaced by automation, AI algorithms making existing inequalities worse. The ethical questions of AI making more and more decisions on its own. We need to be talking about all of this.
It feels like we're at this crossroads. One path leads to a future where AI is helping us solve problems and making life better. The other path leads to a future where AI is putting us out of work and making our problems worse.
Yeah, and the path we end up on depends on the choices we make today. We need strong regulations, ethical guidelines, and a global conversation about what role we want AI to play in our lives.
It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values we build into it and how we use it. Okay, so any specific predictions you're willing to put out there? What should we be paying attention to in 2025?
Well, I'm really curious to see what happens with OpenAI's O3 model. If they can actually pull off that deliberative alignment thing, where the AI is making ethical decisions, that would be a game changer.
Like giving AI a conscience. But what about the potential for misuse? I mean, deepfakes are already a problem.
Oh yeah, the deepfake situation is only going to get worse. As AI gets better at creating fake videos, we're going to need even better tools to detect them. It's going to be this constant back and forth. AI trying to trick us and AI trying to catch it.
So the truth itself is going to be a battleground. What about quantum computing? Will Google stay on top with Willow?
I doubt it. The competition in quantum computing is getting fierce. Other companies are catching up. We might even see more international collaborations or maybe rivalries.
So quantum computing could change the balance of power in the world. Okay, but let's bring it back down to earth again. How is AI going to affect our daily lives in the next year?
I think wearable AI is going to explode. Smart glasses, augmented reality. AI will be integrated into our physical experiences. Instead of looking at our phones all the time, we'll be interacting with the world through these AI-powered lenses.
It's like having a digital layer over reality, feeding us information, helping us make decisions.
Yeah.
But are we ready for that?
That's the big question, isn't it? Are we ready to embrace what AI can do while also being aware of the risks? The next few years are going to be crucial for figuring out how to manage this powerful technology.
It's exciting and a little scary, all at the same time. AI is changing so fast, and the future is happening right now.
And it's a future that we get to shape. It's not set in stone. We're writing this story together with the choices we make and the conversations we have.
This has been an amazing deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from those mind-blowing reasoning models and quantum computers to the ethical questions that are going to shape everything.
It's been a blast exploring all this with you. And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. Let's make it a future worth fighting for.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep shaping the future you want to see.